Here's a shocking reality check. The three basketball legends who just entered the Naismith Hall of Fame might represent the end of an era we'll never see again. When Saturday arrived and Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles, and Maya Moore received their well-deserved Hall of Fame recognition, basketball fans witnessed more than just a celebration. They witnessed the coronation of three players whose playing styles may have become extinct in today's rapidly evolving game. These weren't just exceptional athletes. They were the perfect embodiments of what excellence looked like at their respective positions during their prime years. But here's where it gets controversial. While we celebrate their achievements, we must ask ourselves a difficult question. In our rush toward modernization and analytics-driven basketball, have we actually made the game better? Or have we sacrificed the very qualities that made these legends so special? The reality is stark when you examine their resumes. Each dominated at every level imaginable: college basketball, professional leagues, and international competitions. They collected individual accolades while simultaneously elevating their teammates and winning championships. This combination of personal excellence and team success represents the gold standard for any basketball player. Yet their paths to greatness illuminate something fascinating about how women's basketball has transformed. The roles and expectations for point guards, centers, and forwards have undergone dramatic shifts, reshaping the fundamental principles of how the modern game operates. Can anyone replace the Bird? Let's examine today's emerging point guards, the ones earning WNBA All-Star selections and positioning themselves as future Team USA captains, following Bird's legendary footsteps. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Virtually none of them approached the game the way Bird did. Bird mastered something that seems almost quaint by today's standards: the delicate art of balance. She understood precisely when to score and when to distribute, never forcing situations, but instead reading what her team required in each moment. This measured approach allowed her to maintain control while maximizing her team's potential. Contrast that with today's generation of floor generals. Players like Paige Buchers, Sabrina Ionescu, Caitlin Clark, Hannah Hidalgo, and Malaysia Fulwiley operate with an entirely different philosophy. They embrace aggressive scoring as a primary responsibility, not as a secondary option. Before you label this as selfish basketball, consider the strategic reasoning. A point guard who poses a legitimate scoring threat fundamentally alters the defensive equation, creating more opportunities for everyone. But here's the part most people miss. If Bird entered the league today as a rookie with the 2026 Seattle Storm, coaches would completely reshape her role. That remarkable 39.9% career three-point shooting percentage wouldn't be saved for special moments. It would become her primary weapon. She'd be expected to launch shots from deep, not just when wide open, but to create spacing and opportunities for teammates. Those occasional explosive scoring outbursts that punctuated her career would become the expectation rather than the exception. This evolution raises a provocative question. Are we witnessing progress? Or are we losing something irreplaceable about basketball intelligence and court vision? The vanishing act of traditional centers. While point guards face pressure to score more than ever, traditional big players like Fowles find themselves in the opposite predicament. The dominant post presence that defined Fowles' career has become increasingly rare and perhaps, more importantly, increasingly discouraged. Imagine this scenario: a 6'6" center receiving the ball in the post with permission to simply go to work. This fundamental basketball concept, which Fowles executed with devastating effectiveness, has nearly vanished from the modern game. Instead, Today's centers must demonstrate comfort operating away from the basket, showcasing ball handling skills, making precise passes, and most critically, knocking down open three-pointers. Examine the league's elite teams, and you'll notice a telling pattern. Fowles' former Minnesota Lynx, along with powerhouses like the Las Vegas Aces, utilize traditional big players sparingly. The New York Liberty actively prioritizes centers with three-point shooting ability, while the Atlanta Dream experiments with encouraging their big players to attempt shots from beyond the arc. Defensively, rim protection represents just the starting point for modern centers. The ability to navigate increasingly spaced-out offensive schemes has become nearly as important as shot-blocking prowess. In this downsized WNBA landscape, teams aren't asking their big players to leverage natural size and strength advantages. They're demanding skill set expansion instead. Here's where the controversy deepens. Perhaps this shift occurs simply because so few big players possess Fowles' rare combination of athleticism and skill to truly dominate the interior. While that assessment likely holds truth, it creates a concerning trend. The exceptional young centers who do possess Fowles-like potential probably won't receive encouragement to develop their games in traditional ways. Rather than refining post moves and proving that size still matters, they'll spend countless hours practicing three-point shots. Neither approach is inherently superior. They simply represent different basketball philosophies. But the result means we'll remember Fowles as truly built different in ways that may never be replicated. The Moore legacy lives on. Unlike her Hall of Fame classmates, Maya Moore's basketball DNA faces no extinction threat. In fact, her influence permeates virtually every aspect of today's game. She essentially authored the blueprint that defines modern basketball excellence. The versatile wing player has emerged as the most coveted archetype in contemporary basketball. Multiple position capability? Absolutely essential. Scoring proficiency at all three levels, inside, mid-range, and beyond the arc, non-negotiable. Creating plays on both offensive and defensive ends, mandatory. Moore pioneered this comprehensive approach to basketball excellence. UConn products Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier showcase clear Moore influences, as does rising star Rhyne Howard. The next generation displays even more pronounced Moore characteristics, with talents like Juju Watkins and Madison Booker possessing that same tantalizing versatility. However, this doesn't guarantee any of these players will replicate Moore's specific impact. She dominated opponents with unprecedented ruthlessness while maintaining unimpeachable grace and eloquence, a combination that may prove impossible to duplicate. Even though she departed the game prematurely to pursue social justice causes, the traces of her basketball excellence will endure indefinitely. And this is the part most people miss. Moore didn't just succeed. She redefined what success could look like, both on the court and beyond it. The uncomfortable question we must ask: the basketball world has evolved in ways that make their specific types of excellence increasingly rare, if not impossible to replicate. Bird's measured brilliance, Fowles' dominant post presence, and Moore's comprehensive excellence each represented peak performance within their respective eras. But here's the controversial part. Have we actually improved the game, or simply changed it? Are today's more aggressive point guards, versatile centers, and multi-skilled wings objectively better than their predecessors, or just different? Perhaps the real question isn't whether there will ever be another Sue, Syl, or Maya. Perhaps we should be asking whether the modern game still has room for the qualities that made them legendary in the first place. What do you think? Has basketball's evolution enhanced the sport's beauty, Or have we sacrificed something? Are we witnessing natural progression? Or are we losing the very essence of what made these players so special? The comment section awaits your perspective on this debate that extends far beyond individual players to the very soul of basketball itself.